You walk into a room and no one notices. You speak and no one listens. You exist and the world shrugs. And deep down, you feel it. The suffocating weight of your own invisibility. The quiet truth that you're not feared, not respected, not even seen. But here's the harsh reality. It's not because you're too kind. It's because you're weak, soft, forgettable. And in a world built on wolves, the sheep don't get sympathy. They get slaughtered. You've been lied to. Told that if you're nice, if you're polite, if you smile enough, people will respect you. No, respect isn't given to the agreeable. It's surrendered to the dangerous. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince for men who wanted to be liked. He wrote it for men who wanted to rule. Influence isn't about talking louder. It's about walking in silence, with a presence so heavy it bends the air. Most men are screaming into the void, begging for validation, but the man who commands fear and respect doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He doesn't explain. He just exists, like a storm on the horizon. You feel him before you see him. This video isn't for the talkers. It's for the silent killers. The men who've been overlooked, stepped on, underestimated, and are done playing nice. This is for the man who's had enough. You want to command fear and respect? Then shut your mouth and become the kind of man who doesn't need to speak. You know that feeling when you look in the mirror and don't recognize who you've become? That dead stare, that gut-wrenching silence, not from the world, but from within, a silence where your purpose used to live. It's 2 a.m., the room's quiet, your phone's lit up with distractions you don't care about anymore. You're sitting on the edge of your bed, your hands buried in your face, and the weight of every wasted year crushing your spine. You weren't always like this. There was a time you believed you were meant for something more. You had fire, you had hunger, but somewhere along the way, comfort killed you. You let the routine sedate you. You traded power for peace. You surrendered your edge for acceptance. And now, you're invisible. Walk down the street, no one looks twice. Speak in a room, your words hit like feathers. Post online, nothing but silence. But the worst part? You've betrayed yourself. You let the fear of being disliked rob you of the one thing that matters in this world: power. Women ignore you. Men dismiss you. The world treats you like a background character in your own story, because that's what you've become. You smile too much, apologize too quickly, shrink yourself to fit into spaces that never respected you. You've been nice, agreeable, understanding, and it's made you a ghost. But deep down, beneath all the layers of fake smiles and quiet suffering, there's a storm. A version of you that's been chained, gagged, and locked away. A version of you that's primal, dangerous, respected without speaking, and he's tired of waiting. There comes a moment in every man's life when he stops making excuses and starts drawing blood. You wake up one day and realize no one's coming to save you. That version of yourself, the silent killer, the warrior, the ghost who walks with fire in his eyes, he doesn't arrive by accident. He's forged in agony. This isn't about confidence. It's about presence. It's about being so internally strong, so ruthlessly composed that people feel it in their gut when you walk by. You don't get there with fake bravado. You don't get there reading books and quoting podcasts. You get there by going to war with yourself. Cold mornings, long nights, training when your body screams, working when your soul begs for rest, cutting out every voice, every habit, every comfort that made you soft. You walk into the gym, not to get compliments, but to feel pain, because pain is the only thing that purifies a man. You train until your muscles tear and your lungs burn, because that's how you earn the right to be respected without words. You stop explaining yourself. You stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny. You stop saying sorry when you're not. You eliminate every ounce of weakness from your posture, your gaze, your silence. You sharpen your eyes until they cut through bullshit. You sit in silence until your stillness becomes unnerving. You master your body, your voice, your energy, until people feel your presence before they hear your name. This is the Machiavellian way. Influence through power, respect through control, fear through silence. Because when you become that man, when you operate like a weapon cloaked in calm, people don't question you. They don't test you. They feel you. And fear doesn't come from loud words. It comes from silent strength. Most men are slaves, and the chains, they're invisible. Approval, comfort, addictions, excuses. They bow to comfort like it's a god. But comfort is the graveyard of men. You think you're free? Try saying no. Try walking away. Try standing still while the world panics around you. That's freedom. That's power. That's what silence commands. Machiavelli said it. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Because love is fickle, but fear, real, earned, primal fear, demands respect. You don't need to be loud to lead. You don't need to beg to be seen. The most powerful men in history ruled with calm brutality. Their silence screamed louder than any speech. When you control your urges, people respect you. When you don't flinch, people notice. When you enter a room and don't compete for attention, but absorb it, people fear you. Discipline isn't just about habits. It's about identity. Motivation fades, but discipline is who you become when you've buried your excuses and danced with your demons. You don't earn respect through your words. You earn it by the way you stand, the way you move, the way your eyes don't break contact, the way you carry pain without showing weakness. Stillness is strength, silence is dominance. And when you master both, you become untouchable. So here's the truth, raw and unfiltered. Most men will watch this, feel a flicker of fire, and go back to their pitiful routines. They'll scroll, numb out, shrink back into irrelevance. But not you. You didn't watch this far to feel good. You watched this because you're starving. You're tired of being overlooked, tired of being weak, tired of lying to yourself. So listen closely. You don't need more motivation. You need war. War with your weakness. War with your comfort. War with the man you've been pretending to be. From this moment on, you say less. You do more. You wake up early. You train harder. You speak only when it's time to strike. You remove softness from your face, doubt from your posture, and desperation from your soul. You walk like a man who's been through hell and chose to keep going. You walk like someone who doesn't beg for respect, but commands it, because the world doesn't need more talkers. It needs men who move like shadows and hit like storms. Men who don't just influence a room, they dominate it with presence. Alone. You want to be feared, respected, untouchable? Then shut your mouth, stand up, and become the kind of man who doesn't need to speak to be obeyed. This world wants you weak. Show it your teeth.